Many thanks for choosing us. 40 students of a Juraman Anglican Senior High School in the Ashanti region have sustained injuries after a makeshift dining structure collapsed on them. 5 of the students who suffered multiple fractures are receiving treatment at the intensive care unit of a health facility. The incident occurred Monday evening after a rainfall. Jura Secheduma State Municipal Fire Commander DO3 Isaac Eduyao suspects the incident might have been caused by structures weakened by a torrential rain in the area last Friday. My colleague Nanaya Ojima visited the school this morning. He joins us live with more. Nanaya, tell us about the status of the injured.
So now what we can report is that 49 students are presently in the hospital receiving treatment. One of them with a severe injury has been transferred to the Jamaica Government Hospital. The information we have is that she has a fracture on the leg, and the Jamaica Hospital is the best hospital within the city to treat the injury she has so far. So she has been transferred there. Information that we have is that today, that's later today, there's a higher chances that more of the students will be discharged from the hospital. So far, what I can say is that all 49 students who are admitted at the Ejura Government Hospital are in stable condition. Physicians are doing all their possible best to ensure that they discharge most of these students by close of day.
So the 9 students, or the 3 students that were rushed this morning, what was their state?
So from the information I've been gathering, they also had some injuries. You know, yesterday after the incident, after a lot of them who had, some varying degrees of injuries had been taken to the hospitals, some who were stable as of yesterday were made to stay in school and have some medical officers come over to the school and keep an eye on them. So this morning, 3 of them had to be taken back to the hospital due to the injuries that they recorded, and because they are not stable enough, so they have to take them to the hospital. But I'm learning that at the hospital, they could give them the best of treatment. So the 3 of them are stable now.
We've been trying to get some reaction from the school's authority. Any reaction yet?
So far, I've not been able to speak to them. It's become very difficult getting someone in authority to speak to on this situation. But not too long ago, we had some officers from the National Disaster Management Organization in the Ashanti region, the regional office, coming in here. And it's expected that we will also have the Director General of NADMO also visiting the area. I'm sure that from that visit, we'll be able to get some words from the district chief executive.
Nanaya Ojima is our man following the story for us. Definitely, as some of them will be discharged today, we'll follow up and bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. Now, former Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has a chair seat in Parliament as Dr. Kesia Latofosin takes over the Minority Leader's chair. The reshuffle in the Minority Leadership has come with it a change in seating arrangements in the House. Haruna Idrisu has now taken over the chair of Collins Dauda and will sit with Cletus Avoka. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Santi joins us live from Parliament. Let's go there and see what's going on there.
Currently, the Deputy Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, as Minister of State at the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development. As a consequence of the nomination of Honorable Mohammed Amin Adam as Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, I want to inform Parliament, for its records, that I intend to transfer Mr. Herbert Crapper, currently Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, to the Ministry of Energy as Deputy Minister for Energy to replace Honorable Mohammed Amin Adam. As a result of the vacancy, which will be occasioned because of the reorganization of government, I have, in accordance with Article 79(1) of the Constitution, nominated Honorable Dr. Stephen Amwa Member of Parliament for Inshaso as Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, subject to the approval of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, it is my hope that the approval of the above-named ministers designate and Deputy Minister designate can be done expeditiously to enable me fill the vacant positions in the government as soon as possible. Yours sincerely, Nana Adudankwa Akufo-Addo. Honorable members, this honorable members, I accordingly refer this communication to the Appointments Committee for consideration and report to the House. I want to, on behalf of members, congratulate the members of Parliament who have met the high consideration of His Excellency and have been given the opportunity to go through the vetting by this House. I hope all of you will pass. It's only a hope. But since the minority were jubilating more than the majority, it's an indication that you may go through. Honorable members, I have a very short communication, and after that, I will give opportunity to the leaders to say a few words before we move on. The statement definitely is in connection with my welcome remarks of members from the recess. Honorable members, it's always a pleasure to welcome you back to plenary sessions from recess. You recall Parliament adjourned sine die from plenary sessions on the 22nd of December 2022 and proceeded to perform its functions in a more direct, pluralistic, and practical manner. I saw, I read, and I witnessed the state of the country's democratic development as you engaged with your constituents across the country. You reconnected as well as established strong bonds and warm relations with your constituents and the public during the Yuletide and New Year season. Your impact has given a boost to the democratic credentials of the country, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you for a good job done, and I say congratulations. Before I proceed further, let me recognize the new leadership of the Minority Caucus in Parliament. I was formally informed of the reshuffle of the leadership by the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Honorable Fifi Fiavi Kweti, by a letter dated 23rd January 2023. The new leaders are Minority Leader, Honorable Dr. Kessel Atuforsen, Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Kofi Ama-Boa, Minority Whip, Honorable Kwame Abuja, First Deputy Whip, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, and Second Deputy Whip, Honorable Comfort Doyo Dancer. The new leaders have all been in this house for a while and are very conversant with the culture and law of Parliament. I have confidence in their ability to meet the high expectations of our stakeholders. On behalf of the House and on my part, I warmly welcome them to the hot seats of the leadership of my Parliament, and I want to emphasize hot seats of the leadership of Parliament. Congratulations, and I wish you well. The former members of the leadership, led by Honorable Haruna Idrisu, must be applauded too. Their record of performance is visible for all to see. And I hope the new leadership will continue to draw from their fountain of wisdom, trove of wealth, and experience. I know what it entails as a veteran of this journey and experience to lead a populous minority caucus in Parliament. All I can say to the former leaders is, the Lord is your shepherd. You shall not want. When one door closes, many doors open. And I tell you for sure that many of the open doors are better and higher than the closed door. Look at the open doors and not the closed one. With this, I welcome all of you once more. And I wish you all a very happy and prosperous New Year.
Away from Parliament, individual pension bond holders have resumed day 2 of their picketing at the Ministry of Finance to demand a total exemption from the domestic debt exchange program. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in his updates on the economy last night, re-emphasized government's offer of a 15% coupon rate at a 5-year maturity period to pensioners, but the group has since been rejecting the offer. My colleague James Aveji has more in the following.
I listened very carefully to the minister, and we are asking for total exempts. You'll hear it later from our convener. But for now, revered senior citizens and our countrymen, today is Tuesday, the 7th of February, 2023. 75 years ago, on the 28th of February 1948, just about 3 kilometers from here, veterans of the Second World War belonging to the Gold Coast Regiment of the Royal Gold Coast Frontier Force were marching to Christianborg Castle to submit a petition. At the crossroads, they were intercepted, and 3 of them, Sergeant Agete, Corporal Atipo, and Private Odate Lamte, were martyred. They shed their blood for this land. 75 years ago, today, indeed, let me say, from last month, we made petitions to His Excellency and to the Minister. Fortunately, we've not been intercepted with bullets to kill us. However, I want to draw attention that about 4 years ago, during the banking restructuring, several of our people died. They died out of poverty because what they planned is not what came to be. So blood was shed. Now, as we stand here, we represent a section of the whole society. Why are some of us, even as we speak, because of desperation, fear, having strokes, and some dying? Blood is still being shed. I want us to remind ourselves of what happened 75 years ago and remind ourselves of what is happening now.
Meanwhile, today is a deadline for government's invitation to bondholders to participate in the debt exchange program. Finance Minister addressed a press conference last night detailing a revised offer to the public.
December 2022, we invited all holders of Ghana's bonds to volunteer to exchange their holdings for new bonds whose terms are compatible with our desired downward debt trajectory. This invitation was within the context that for Ghana to reach the required debt sustainability threshold of debt to GDP of 55%, it was important to review the interest rates and maturities of the existing bonds. Having listened to and acknowledged emerging concerns, we have recalibrated the framework of the DDEP with the following constituting the terms of the improved and enhanced offer. 1. All individual bondholders who are below the age of 59 years, Category A, are being offered instruments with a maximum maturity of 5 years instead of 15 years and a 10% coupon rate. 2. All retirees, including those retiring in 2023, Category A, are being offered instruments with a maximum maturity of 5 years instead of 15 years and a 15% coupon rate. All retirees, including those retiring in 2023, Category B, are being offered instruments with a maximum maturity of 5 years instead of 15 years and a 15% coupon rate. The objective of this is to ensure that individuals, especially retirees who put their hard-earned savings in our domestic market, are not left in hardship as a result of the DDEP and yet contribute to the resolution of our current crisis. We have been intentional in pushing the threshold of what is possible in order to safeguard the well-being of our pensioners, preserve the savings of individuals, protect the working capital of businesses, and ensure the health and stability of our financial sector whilst restoring macroeconomic stability. Indeed, since the first announcement of the DDEP, the government has engaged in good faith discussions and extensive stakeholder engagements of all groups in order to reach a resolution that ensures an orderly path out of our economic challenges.
Away from the debt exchange program, long before he left senior high school, he was popularly referred to as Dr. Nimri Leonard Lanyele due to a childhood ambition to become a medical doctor. Leonard was part of the team that led his school to the quarterfinals of the National Science and Maths Quiz in 2007. But after St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary in Wa, misfortune and pain dashed this childhood dream as Leonard dropped out of University after 4 years of studying optometry. Medical reports describe his condition as bipolar disorder 2, and all efforts to return him to the university have been futile. JoyNews' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin was in Jarapa to visit the young man who now lives in pain after abandoning his dream to become a doctor.
You see, that I've taught a school lesson. If God is alive, I was born for a greater purpose. And that purpose is not for government to pay me or for government to give me anything fancy.
He had always dreamt of becoming a medical officer, some neurosurgeon, to do crazy things. As for him, he was so determined. He said, whatever it is, there has to be a DR. We used to call him DR against his name. So he opted to do doctor of optometry.
I was their biology teacher and he used to do very well in biology. Since then, Leonard has been in contact with some of us and until he got admission to do optometry at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
It's a promise he made since he was a child. He told me that mommy, that her occupation is doctor, to become a doctor. If she's well treated, I want him to go back to school and complete.
Trace, it could be the grandfather's time or great-great-grandfather's time, but it's still enmity between families.
33-year-old Nimwe Leonard Lanyele Leonard was born with a desire to impact lives and be a change agent. But his life has been full of cultural rhetoric.
So from Ghana Memorial JSS that I went to St. Francis Xavier, it's a seminary. We are trained basically as a good product for school and mother church. That's Ghana and then the Catholic Church. So as I'm seated, I'm a good Catholic, not to its practical point, but the faith. I believe in God. I've seen that life is long gone. My train has gone. That's what I'm saying. My life story is just full of cultural rhetorics.
Leonard completed Ghana Memorial Junior High School and went on to St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary, where he studied general science in 2007. According to records, Leonard was a brilliant student who excelled academically at both junior and senior high schools. With an aggregate 8, he was the best performing student at Ghana Memorial Junior High School. A similar excellent performance was achieved at St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary. He had an A in all subjects except biology, English, and social studies, which were B2, B3, and B2 respectively.
The other certificate is still the best grade of that same school. You see? This is 8, aggregate 8. And the other one is 8 too, you see. Sometimes that's why I get bored when it comes to education. I've really done all and nothing came out of it.
Leonard was part of the team that led his school to the quarterfinals of the National Science and Maths Quiz.
5 of us were chosen to represent the school at the National Science and Maths Quiz. Yes, for I think 2007. Usually 3 seats. Yes, he was actually part of the first 3. He was a genius. Let me say that. You wouldn't see him reading the regular science books we do. He was always reading storybooks. He was so industrious. Chemistry, he was on top.
I'm not disappointed in myself. The person I'm disappointed in is the media. Because I've ever been on TV before, and it was a question I answered. The quiz mystery said I was wrong. I cried because I knew what I was answering.
In fact, if you get the opportunity to watch the videos, then you realize that he wept when we lost by just 1 point to Anglican, because he couldn't understand how we could just lose by 1.
Within the group, he was one of the main powerhouses of that squad. His strengths were mainly in the biology and then mathematics. He would hardly miss the maths question. The advert that the National Science and Maths quiz used to roll in those days, there was a picture of the Xavier squad of that year, and then Leonard was in tears on screen. That was because they had just lost by the last riddle, and he just couldn't bear it, and he was in tears.
Leonard was known and addressed as a doctor at St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary because of his outspoken aspiration to be a medical doctor. His admission to the University of Cape Coast was hampered because his parents could not afford the high tuition at the time.
I would have done medicine at Cape Coast, but at that time it was 41 million a year. My father is a teacher, a humble teacher. He's not NAGRAT. He's not. At the time he couldn't really pay for my fees. So I opted for KNUST to do optometry. It's still the same doctorate. Not the PhD, I say, but the same practical medical doctorate.
During his first 4 years at KNUST, he performed well. But what has since become condition caught Leonard off guard in 2012.
There was this mental issue that cropped up. You see, that's why I keep saying the mental issue. Mental health itself in Ghana, you see, is not developed. So my situation is a hanging situation. I always want to help myself first. That is, I encourage myself, I'm sane. I never want to go back to the back days where they say I'm not sane. I'm sane. And my sanity doesn't mean getting paid for all this effort. This should have pay. That's why I keep telling Ghana. I don't know how you media, you present upfront issues like this. A student with this certificate, I was the best in the class. I can tell you that some couldn't even get half quarter of this, but they are teachers. What are they teaching people?
Here is Leonard's 60-year-old mother, Ninwe Gladys.
I just don't know the problem. Somebody was telling me that is a friend, that he had a friend in the school, and the friend sent him to their village, to their town. Then she came with this condition, that the friend was complaining that always Leo will take the lead and he will be the second.
Leonard was forced to take a break from his university studies in order to seek medical attention at the Pantang Psychiatric Hospital in 2013. Doctors diagnosed him with bipolar disorder 2.
There's a certificate hanging inside that dirty room, that empty room, that still holds the record. As a winner speller in Pantang, when I was even there, went for a quiz, I still won. Keep telling people I'm sensible, I have my sense. I can teach a crowd.
Leonard later returned to the university in 2014 to continue his studies, but his stay was brief.
I think after a successful rehabilitation program, he was readmitted to the department to join us in our 5th year. By then I was in my 5th year training, so he became my course mate in the 5th year. He attended lectures with us for the first semester, and then wrote the first semester exams. Then he passed most. I think he only had a trail in French, which he had not attended of the lectures, and so could not really understand the language. But all the other courses that were run that semester, he was able to pass them. And then subsequent to that again, the second semester, he didn't surface for the semester.
I can tell you, if you go down to check my breakdown on academic aspect, you see that I've taught a school lesson. You know the number pi. You've ever had pi? I know the one we are using right now is wrong. I've also approximated a lot of things. When I was at the university, I traced pi. I know pi. I know why pi is wrong. The current one we're using, is 3.142 or 22/7. It's wrong. I know. I've done a lot of work.
And so what is the correct one?
I've presented it at a conference. The time I was in school at KNUST, you see, it's also on video, you see. So I don't know why people, when they see me, they think I haven't gone to school. I've gone to school. I have these certificates. If I go to KNUST, I say I want a certificate right now. That is the point. Who sent me there? You see, she's only a lady, yeah. She has no work.
Both his senior high school and university friends are stunned by the turn of events.
And for me, it was disheartening because this is a guy I felt was very brilliant and he could have been a great resource to us.
Oh, this guy with all the, intelligence, with all the aspirations he had, he could be suffering and going through all these things. I felt very bad about it.
Many of Leonard's classmates are medical doctors, engineers, and other professionals. Leonard, given his circumstances, should have been one as well.
I am here at the Department of Chemistry at the University of Ghana to speak to Mr. Sistus Bayer, a former biology teacher of Leonard.
Leonard could be one of the best scientists or medical doctors in Ghana if he hadn't suffered that medical condition.
Gladys, his mother, says his son's predicament began when his 57-year-old father, Ninwe, died in 2011.
The father died. The father died 13th August 2011. So when Leonard came, he was not for himself. He even didn't want to see me. I collapsed. Immediately I saw Leonard in that condition, I collapsed. Before I realized I was in the hospital. After 8 days, they discharged me. I came home and Leo said he will not stay with me. That I'm looking straight, that I'm just looking like something.
Leonard promised his mother when he was a child that he wanted to be a doctor, but that dream appears to have been dashed today. So what does Leonard want?
I want peace. I respect my mother, that is a responsibility. I respect humanity, that is still also a responsibility, you see. What I expect from my family, I expect care itself. To manage such a patient is not easy.
Leonard says he will return to school if the opportunity comes again.
If I get the opportunity, I'll go back to school, but I don't want it a tall cry again. I don't want it like, I just want a simple course, community, health nursing, teachers training college, something like that, so that I can just find a simple idea and help my colleagues.
That's the story of Leonard. Let's move on to other stories. Former Premier League star Christian Achu has been found alive but injured following the tragic 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Turkey. It has been confirmed. The former, now at a Super League side, Hatayspor, was missing after a series of devastating earthquakes which have claimed more than 4,000 lives across Turkey and Syria. Achu was caught up in the natural disaster in Kahramanmaraş, where Hatayspor are based, along with club sporting director Tena Savu. Vice President Mustafa Ozat has now confirmed that Achu is out of the rubble but injured while the search for him continues. Here is a Turkey journalist with more.
So many buildings have been destroyed that for is insufficient sometimes. But we got best news of the day from us this morning. Yasku was pulled alive from the rubble and taken to the hospital right now. But connection is so bad in the Hatay. I can't reach with phone to Hatay board member. Therefore, Hatayspor coach, who is Volkan Demirel, arranged the private plane, and team has gone to Adana City for they will return to their home. But about us too, right now his condition is good, but he rescued after 26 hours later. Therefore, situation is critical, good but critical, and he emerged from the rubble. But I have bad news about Taner Savut, who is sporting director for Hatay, and also he was neighbor of Christian Atsu. They are still searching to rescue from under the rubble, but not yet. We didn't get good news from Taner, but Atsu is okay, and also doctors will interact with him. Of course, he rescued after 26 hours later. Therefore, still his condition is good, but till his health is critical. We are waiting good news from Hatay and also. Also, I hope he will be better.
Okay. Now, do we know the time Achu was pulled out of the rubble?
26 hours later, he rescued by rescue.
You heard the Turkey sports journalist confirming that Achu has been found alive but injured. There is more in our subsequent bulletin. We'll take a break on JoyNews today, and when we return, it's business.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. 150 unemployed youth have been enrolled to learn vocational and technical skills under the Sinapia Bar Youth Apprenticeship Program. The initiative is meant to economically empower the youth as well as reduce unemployment in its operational areas. Beneficiaries of the bank's annual entrepreneurship drive are from deprived parts of the northern regions. Prince Apia has more in this report.
The Youth Apprenticeship Program is the financial institution's economic empowerment program to support the unemployed youth in its operational areas through entrepreneurship. It has prioritized vocational and technical skills in most regions in the country. Beneficiaries undergoes a training for 3 years, receive capital to start up afterwards. Margaret Owusu-Asare is coordinator of the Youth Apprenticeship Program.
Tamale, because it looks like all the 13 regions have benefited from YAP, and management thought it wise to also come to Tamale so that the 3 northern regions can also be beneficiaries of the project. That is why we are here. The project is aiming at helping the vulnerable poor who are desperate for learning vocational skills but are unable because their parents are poor, but they are willing. So those are the ones we are reaching out for so that their parents can also see their children doing something for themselves.
The support from Sinapia Bar Savings and Loans is to equip participants in the trade of their choice.
For this particular project, we have 150 beneficiaries, and out of that, about 80 are doing tailoring and dressmaking. We have 30 doing hairdressing, and the other trades are tile laying, auto electrical, auto mechanic, and carpentry.
Tamale branch manager of Sinapia Bar Savings and Loans, Michael Adongo, is excited the initiative will economically empower these communities up north.
This will also help in eliminating crime within the region, because we would have this vulnerable youth who were idling have the opportunity to have work to do. And we believe that the well-being of the community that we find ourselves in, if the community is well, we will get the benefits, as this will help in the transformation activities of the region.
Here are some of the beneficiaries.
So as for me, I'm learning hairdressing. So at the end of the program, the 3-year program, I'll become a successful hairdresser to be able to take care of myself and my family. I therefore encourage all my colleagues out there who have been given this great opportunity to take it serious.
And they have given us the equipment to start this training. And I think this will help us a lot. I can't thank them less. May God bless them. If I complete this 3 years training, I think I can start something by my own. Yes, I can also start my own shop. For that matter, I can help myself and my family. Yes.
The YAP program currently has beneficiaries across all the 13 regions of Ghana. Prince Apia reporting.
The International Cocoa Initiative, ICI, has started implementing a remediation system to curtail child and forced labor in cocoa-producing communities in Ghana. Deputy Country Director Prince Jemfi says the system has an inherent goal of helping to improve the income of farmers. The ICI has collaborated with the Ghana Agriculture and Rural Development Journalists Association to build the capacity of journalists in reporting on child and forced labor. Anita Sewajuga has more in this report.
The International Labour Organization estimates that out of 24.9 million people who are in forced labour, 4.3 million are children. The United Nations Children's Fund, through its principles and guidelines for media reporting on children, expects journalists to protect children in reporting on child and forced labour. In line with this, the International Cocoa Initiative has trained 35 agriculture and rural development journalists from 4 cocoa-producing regions in child and forced labour. The training is to deepen journalists' understanding and also improve their skills for writing ethical reports on child and forced labour. Prince Jemfi is Deputy Country Director of the International Cocoa Initiative.
We expect the media to use their platform to create more awareness on the issue of child labor, and also to distinguish between what a child can do and what a child cannot do, which I called the acceptable and unacceptable work for children. So since the media has that kind of platform and it's wider platform, it could help a lot if they intensify the campaign and awareness raising on the need for parents, the need for everyone to be involved in the fight against child labor.
And that's business for now. More coming up on the marketplace. Up next, sports.
Hello, welcome to the sports segment with me, Razak Musbah. Well, a number of Ghanaians were left worried following the news that Christian Atsu had been trapped in a rubble after an earthquake hit Turkey, killing many and leaving thousands injured. Latest reports of his rescue have since been received with some relief by the Ghanaian public, and there is more in this report.
For 24 hours, Christian Atsu was caught up in the rubble in that deadly earthquake disaster in Turkey. When the news broke out for a number of Ghanaians, it was one of worry as we all prayed and hoped for him to be found. Turkish journalists report that he has since been found and taken to the local hospital where he's receiving treatment. This has further been confirmed by the manager of the club where he plays, Hatayspor, that he has indeed been accounted for and is receiving treatment in a local hospital. For a number of Ghanaians, this news is one that has brought them a lot of excitement and relief, because for some, they could not sleep. And to hear that he has not been found, they have nothing short of thanks.
I felt, you know, very bad. They're looking at, I mean, the way he's helped, you know, the Ghana Black Stars in the past, like, events and stuff. I felt, you know, we were very bad. But like I'm saying, we thank God that he's been found.
Mr. Atsu na wayari ebi musi wewu nsempi, but ena no pe nyame ayadom yesi hwenye ne o ma hwehwe no musaka no nti eda nyame ase se me ye Ghana ni a ne da de si ya hwe anya ne de yenya da nyame ase se yen saka no
beti ne si na beti especially say me say Ghana ni Christian Atsu ka ho no na ye bi mu a na ye hu no ne de say me so me Ghana ni de na me ye bi hihye me pa say de na me ya kase nkra say obobo na osan hye go na fi de yi press bebre ni ehu ne de na ya yim hyehyema me pa nti na me kura me bom pa se urade ya adom se ye betuma aden eyi no nti nyame adom a me te se nyame adom ye yi na oda so won kwam ne de na se aseda na edi ma urade nti ye de urade ase bebre ne ho aka kakra de na enso no nim se nyame nti ne ho beto no ne wasan gina na so abobo na edumiri bi kura se blaster san frɛ na wasan be gina mu asi akan amagana.
It's such a relief that Achu has been found, and you know he's Ghanaian and he's our blood, and such a catastrophe, no one will wish it on anybody, no matter what. Yeah, so it's a happy moment. So from yesterday, I was very sad the whole day, and in the evening around 7 o'clock, and I heard that he was found but injured. It's such a relief that he's alive. That's the most important thing. Yes, the rest we leave it up to God.
Metia samona ya meja sa obi obo ball my ni gise na bibi say asi enti yankasa no se sie no kra na obi di asan ne me ametie se wote nkwam ye nyina ye be kai ne mpaibom na ne ho ato no.
My hope is that Kisiachu will not be part of the incident, so I was hoping that should be free about from the incident what came from the Turkey. So all what I will say is we thank God so much for saving Kisiachu for us, and we hope that from now onwards he will be fine and successful, and we will hear from him safely, and you will come back to Ghana, and you come and bring his body to Ghana and show and tell us that now he is safe from the incident.
While we wait for full recovery and even to get to see Christian Achu, wherever you are, you want to say a word of prayer for him so that he can indeed recover speedily and return to a normal life. Reporting for Joy Sports, Razak Musbao.
Well, reports indicate that more than 7,800 people have been rescued across 10 provinces. Up next.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews. Today, now actor Majid Michelle said it is important for individuals and families to invest in the welfare and education of youngsters in the country. In an interview on Showbiz A to Z, Majid reiterated the importance of community and family in nation building.
You see, we don't play. Our politicians are thieves. Where are they coming from? These thieves, where are they coming from? They're coming from your family. They're coming from my family. They're coming from your family. They're coming from James' family. They're coming from our family. Yeah. Where are the armed robbers coming from? Our family. Those raping the girls, where are they coming from?
Our families. They are brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our uncles, our fathers.
The thieves in town, where are they coming from? They are
from our families. They are with us. They are part of us.
You see, when the government starts buying cameras and putting them on traffic lights to catch people who are crossing red light, and when the government is buying more police cars, more ammunition, they are building more jails, they are building more cells, and they are putting money into these things, thinking that these things will solve the problem. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie. Your police cars and your policemen and your ammunition and your guns and your pistols and all the cameras you are hiding on traffic lights to catch people who are breaking the law. You see, the guy breaking the law that has respect.
Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Becky. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.